In this video, we continue to explore the ISO approach to enterprise risk management found in ISO 31000 Risk Management Guidelines, revised in 2018. This video is part 2 of 2 parts. The ISO risk management system comprises 3 parts. In this video, we focus on the process. The risk management process involves the systematic application of policies, procedures, and practices to the activities of communicating and consulting, establishing the context, and assessing, treating, monitoring, reviewing, recording, and reporting risk. This process can be applied at enterprise, strategic, operational, program, or project levels. Communication and consultation help stakeholders understand risk, the basis on which decisions are made, and the reasons why particular actions are required. Communication promotes awareness and understanding of risk, and consultation involves obtaining feedback and information to support decision-making. Communication and consultation with appropriate external and internal stakeholders should take place within and throughout all steps of the risk management process. Communication and consultation aims to bring different areas of expertise together for each step of the risk management process to ensure that different views are appropriately considered when defining risk criteria and when evaluating risks, and to provide sufficient information to facilitate risk oversight and decision-making. The scope, the context, and criteria are established to customize the risk management process, enabling effective risk assessment and appropriate risk treatment. The scope of a risk management process involves such things as the objectives and decisions that need to be made, appropriate risk assessment tools and techniques, the resources required, and the outcomes expected. The context of the risk management process should be established from the understanding of the external and internal environment in which the organization operates, and should reflect the specific environment of the activity to which the risk management process is to be applied. The organization should specify the amount and type of risk that it may or may not take relative to objectives. It should also define criteria to evaluate the significance of risk and to support decision-making processes. Criteria include such things as the nature and type of uncertainties that can affect outcomes and objectives, how consequences, both positive and negative, and their likelihood will be defined and measured, how the level of risk is to be determined, and the organization's capacity for risk. Risk assessment is the overall process of risk identification, risk analysis, and risk evaluation. This is quite a different definition than that used throughout this program. Beware of the messy language. Risk assessment should be conducted systematically, iteratively, and collaboratively, drawing on the knowledge and views of stakeholders. It should use the best available information, supplemented by further analysis as necessary. The purpose of risk identification is to find, recognize, and describe risks that might help or prevent an organization from achieving its objectives. Relevant, appropriate, and up-to-date information is important in identifying risks. Risk analysis, as used here, is most comparable to what we have been calling risk assessment throughout most of this program. Its purpose is to comprehend the nature of risk and its characteristics, including, where appropriate, the level of risk. ISO's risk analysis step involves a detailed consideration of uncertainties, risk sources, consequences, likelihoods, events, scenarios, controls, and their effectiveness. It can be undertaken with varying degrees of detail and complexity depending on the purpose of the analysis, the availability and reliability of information, and the resources available. Analysis techniques can be qualitative, quantitative, or a combination of the two, depending on the circumstances and intended use. ISO's risk evaluation supports decisions. It involves comparing the results of the risk analysis with the established risk criteria to determine where additional action is required. This can lead to a decision to do nothing further, to consider risk treatment options, to undertake further analysis to better understand the risk, to maintain existing controls, or to reconsider the organization's objectives. The purpose of risk treatment is to select and implement risk management options. Risk treatment involves an iterative process of formulating and selecting risk treatment options, planning and implementing the risk treatment, and then assessing the effectiveness of that treatment, deciding whether the residual risk is acceptable, and if it is not acceptable, taking further treatment options. Monitoring and review assures and improves the quality and effectiveness of the risk management treatment, its design, implementation, and outcomes. Ongoing monitoring and periodic review of the risk management process and its outcomes should be a planned part of the risk management process. The risk management process and its outcomes should be documented and reported appropriately. This helps to communicate risk management activities and outcomes across the organization. It helps to provide information for decision making, to improve risk management activities, and to assist interactions with stakeholders, especially those with responsibility and accountability for risk management activities.